and welcome back to Come Geek Some. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for all future content. On New Year's Eve, LjMontello, Renfamous and Marsgurl, they all went onto a podcast, and let's just say some of the things, well, the majority of the things they were saying, you could tell that this was literally, it wasn't a podcast to talk about things, it was literally to go somewhere so they can all speak together and literally just hash out a plan to get rid of Vic Mignogna. That's exactly what this was. So we're going to have a little look. There's actually a transcript of what we got of a few things that were said during the podcast. Now we are going to be reading from Net, and go read the site. I'll leave the link below. Keep following it. Hero is going to be working on it as well, so that's going to be great for him, so he can get more things on there and he can get more of his work down in print. Well, we call it print, but it's not really print anymore. As they say, print is dead. But we're going to have a little look and we're going to go through it now, okay? So here we are, obviously, 2020 and #KickVic announced they will continue to target him in the new year. Here's their strategy. And when they go down, we actually have the best, as we could say, is that they have tried to transcribe it as best they could. I did my best transcribing the clip for your convenience, however, please understand that the audio quality during their podcast is not exactly decent. The scratchy voices speaking over each other also made transcribing difficult. In other words, this transcript is not 100% accurate. But that's why I'm also providing you the source, which is good. So if what we'll read here and say, if you want to listen to the podcast later, it'll all be down below. Fear of, if people are vigilant, it's not going to be immediate, but once cons of hardship. Once there's impudence of, well, it's been a couple of years, maybe he's learned a lesson, he's regularly struggled and has... The threat of backlash needs to have imposing financial consequences to the degree they are not even willing to risk it. You hear that, TVW Dungeoneers? If you have any conventions having him, you need to get your trans asses off the couch and tell them you were going to show up until you heard this was coming on. The key points to hit are that he has a reputation now. He has a documented reputation now. The fact you can Google his name. This whole we didn't know nonsense is this. However, you can't play dumb anymore. I'm going to stop it by there for one moment, because with them saying you can't play dumb anymore, all these people supposedly knew for a decade, but they didn't do anything about it. So to me, if what they're accusing him of, they should really be included in this themselves. They're really talking about themselves, because it just goes to show what type of person that they are if all this is true and they didn't do nothing. If they didn't do nothing, technically they can be worse than him because they allowed it to happen. They were in a position to help. They were in a position to get those people away. But no, they allowed it to happen because they don't care about anyone else apart from themselves. And they only bring things up when it suits them and they need to get the... What's the best word to describe this? Possibly, to get the actual interaction on social media, to get that forward, because Renfamous has started unblocking people because she has realised her interactions are down and she's losing followers. So she has unblocked people to start more crap. And with that that just goes to show that she's also a narcissist. They all are, because all they care about is themselves and what they look like on social media. Right, but having these things in the media that are accessible is the way that you go to a small local con that has invited him, and you can go to the local media and say, look, your local convention has invited a controversial this. And first of all, they keep going on saying he's this, that he's done to one. No, he's not, because you have literally, for nearly an entire year, said he done this to people at conventions. Then all of a sudden, you started saying it was towards underage. That's because you knew that because it wasn't that word associated with all of this, that he was still getting invited. You needed to find more buzzwords to use. And using the P word, which is exactly what you've done now, you're trying to make it look better, but you're not. And I was saying this yesterday. These type of people, they like to create just buzz and harassment surrounding people. They do it because they want to make themselves feel better. And as you can tell by this transcript, just by the way that they were talking on the podcast, if you listen to it, they were all trying to talk at the same time. They were all trying to say different things. And it's like, guys, one at a time. And when you talk, try not to mumble. Because the way they have spoken, as you can see it right by here, and then they completely changed the subject of what they were talking about. So we're going to carry on. News articles, news outlets such as Variety or NPR are no small-time news outlets, you know. I'd say those are pretty big places to point to and say this is the kind of coverage this person received. It's not just nerd outlets where nerd reporters reported on nerd things that's happening. It's in the local paper in Dallas. And we all know why he was in the local paper in Dallas. When you think of it like that, and then when you see that she's been following Greg Doucet for a number of years, and he's also helped her, it just goes to show that these people, they're all in cahoots. Right, you have a con going on in Garland, Texas, and the Garland Time-Herald has nothing to talk about that day. You can get to the front page news that a local con has invited this to attend with their children. That's the kind of pressure they respond to. They don't respond well to weeb tweets as well as they do that kind of pressure. So you got them saying that there, but what has LjMontello and all the others been doing recently? They're literally on Twitter, on Instagram, on Google trying to do horrible and fake reviews to things just to try and stop these people from bringing V to them. So they're talking about it and then they're completely going against it and doing something else. And when you look at it that way, that just goes to show what type of people they really are. That's all I have to say on this matter at this moment in time. So if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see all you wonderful people soon.